then you can look.
Kind of hinges your wrist on your way back, and you just leave it there.
Absolutely, it's called hinge and hold.
And I've picked a lot of backspin, like especially off my 60.
Okay, John, first we're going to look at your putting. On your left is the video I took at the beginning of the putting session, and on the right is toward the end of the session after I had talked to the group about some of the putting fundamentals. Looking at your setup, I like the width of your stance. That's just really good. Putting is such a personal preference. Yes, there are fundamentals that everyone should come close to, but the bottom line is if you figured out a way to get the ball in the hole correctly, even if you're slightly unorthodox, then that's fine. You do have a very solid fundamental and orthodox putting stroke, so that looks really good. I like your arms hang down nice and comfortable. Because you're tall, you probably won't have as much crouch over the ball as you might see other putters. That's the only thing that I see. Usually arms tucked, the elbows tucked a little bit more on the sides than this is. But I really liked your stroke. It was very good. First thing I look at in terms of a stroke is, do they maintain connection? I've drawn the two arms and the shaft to form a letter Y. And as you take the putter back, I like the fact that, one, you kept your head very stable, and you still have the letter Y. You're just kind of rocking your shoulders. You're not wristy at all, so that's excellent. As you come forward and as you make contact, your eyes are looking down at the ball. You're not swaying or moving your body too much here at all. Very good. But you do have a tendency to turn your head, and sometimes that'll cause you to start lifting up. Possibly just a little bit early. Now, we had worked on keeping our head down a little bit longer. I call it the putt hold look, that you want to putt the ball, hold your posture, hold your head in the same position, keep your head down and eyes down until your putter follow through comes to a complete stop. And then hold your putter in that position, that follow through position, and then you can turn your head. So as we look at your stroke here, coming back, coming into the golf ball, as you hit, your eyes are down, your eyes are still down, still down, still down, and your putter has now come to a complete stop, and you aren't turning or looking at like you did in the first video. So you executed the putt hold look really well. Very solid, still have that letter Y in your arms. Very good stroke. You're going to be a very good putter. Now we're going to look at your chipping, and on the left is at the beginning of the chipping session, and on the right is after we had talked about some of the chipping fundamentals. Now you already had some really good solid fundamentals for your short game. Narrowed your stance. You've got your choke down a little bit on the club. You've got a little more weight on your left side, even though you're going uphill. It's a little bit hard to see. The camera's kind of looks a little bit tilted here. Hands a little bit in front of the golf ball. On the left, you're using probably looks like a 60 degree, and then maybe more like a pitching wedge or 9-iron on the right. And basically, you're hitting the same shot to the same target, but you're trying to get there with a little bit less loft on the right. And that does create some advantages in consistency. I'll start your club back on the right. That's about the end of your backswing, and you can see how you've got a nice little hinge there, not a big one. In fact, you had asked some questions about the hinging, and this is the hinge and hold technique, which is absolutely the preferred way to hit these shots. Is have a little hinge in your backswing, but just don't re-hinge on the follow-through. So that looks pretty good there, but I do want to point out the length of the backswing. Now I'm gonna do the same with the one on the right. So on the right, we have just a little less hinge and certainly a lot shorter backswing. And because you chose a lower lofted club, you're not required to have as much swing or moving parts to get the ball on the green and rolling to the target. So you're going to be a little bit more consistent with the technique on the right, simply because you don't have as big a swing or and as many moving parts with more hinge. And so the club head speed as it approaches the ball will be a lot slower. That also means that a mishit with this slower swing will have a better chance of having an end result closer to the preferred result than the bigger swing. If you mishit with the bigger swing, it will magnify the error. But if you mishit with a smaller swing, it doesn't. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to choose a club that allows you to hit the green as soon as you can and let it run to the hole. Now that requires having what we call having plenty of room to work with. If the flag is close to the edge of the green that you're putting over, then it won't stop with a lower lofted club, and you would have to then use a higher lofted club. But the bottom line is it's important for you to practice different clubs, different lofts to get to different holes. And then based on your own experiences, start learning which shots seem to work best for you in terms of getting the best result. I'm now going to take your forward stroke, frame advance it through that. The other thing I would want you to work on a little bit is that you do have a tendency to raise up in your follow through. And when you finish, you're standing pretty tall here. And I don't mind you turning toward and looking at the target, but you don't want to lift the spine angle. The tilt that you have in your spine as you're over the ball, and I wish I had a down the line video of your swing here, because I think we would see that spine angle lift and instead of just turn. But I want you to be able to the tilted spine that you have at address. I want you to maintain that. And you have a tendency to kind of, as the club goes up, you let your chest come up. And I want you to keep the angle in your spine all the way until your club comes to a stop. Then and only then can you straighten your spine up.